Oh, hey, fellas. Today I finished up the BF109 project that I've been working on. So grab your mug, your cup, your chalice, and have a simultaneous sip, as Scott Adams would say. I got one of my dogs locked up in the bedroom because a painter's coming over to paint one of our rooms, and she's flipping out. She doesn't like the painter. She tries to eat him. But anyway, I've got the BF109 done. At the end of the last video, I thought I'd think of something else to do with it and I couldn't really. So I ended up just making a base. I thought a base would kind of help it out a little bit. So I just kind of put it in a desert, semi arid type of environment, and it's this kit. It's just kind of a disappointment all the way around. I was expecting a lot from the model, and I was pretty disappointed in it. Uh, the the actual paintwork that I did on it, uh, I'm not totally satisfied with it. And for those of you that build models and are really into it, I'm sure occasionally you'll build and paint something and look at it and be like, there's just something not right about it. And that's kind of the way I feel with this one. There's just something that's not right about this, and can't quite put my finger on it, but it is what it is, and I'll move on to the next project. So, without further ado, let's go take a look at it. So let's take a closer look at it. As you can see, here's the base I've been working on. I'm okay with it. With the base, again, I'm playing with my static grass stuff. As you can see here. I use foam from. I went down to Home Depot and got some of that insulation foam, like the Pink Panther stuff, and it works a lot better. It's a little bit different than what I've been working with, but it works a lot better than what I had been using. And I just inset it into this $4 or $5 frame type dealio that I got at Walmart, and then I added sand and baking soda and Mod Podge to create the texture, and then threw in some my plaster of Paris. Whenever I use plaster of Paris, I take the leftover parts and I kind of crush them up, and they make pretty good stones. And I used about the same color that I used for the plane, and what I wanted to mimic was the camouflage pattern of the actual plane. So I kind of put in dark green grass in splotches just to kind of mimic that pattern. Thought it was kind of neat. Whether it's realistic or not, I don't know. I would assume they used that pattern for a reason. So that's what I did. Now on the plane, I ended up, instead of a lot of times when I build these things, I use that UV glue. It's activated by UV light. Bondic, I think it's called, or some variation of that. But I use that instead of the clear parts, like on these wing light things. I just put in some of that, and it dries clear. It dries quickly, and it's a lot easier than trying to trim off those little bitty clear parts and clean them up and gluing them in. As you can see, I've got the propeller and the spinner. Basically, I coated those in aluminum. I didn't show that, but I coated them in aluminum and then scratched them up a little bit after I'd painted them with just a toothpick. And I like that method. I don't have to mess with hairspray. It chips off pretty easily if I put lighter coats on. And then use some oil paint to try to get it a little dirty, and then just glossed over it. This kit's not. I'm really disappointed in this kit. I wouldn't recommend it. and actually it took a lot of work just to get to here, and I didn't use a whole lot of filler, but there was a lot of, like the whole engine, I just cut out the half the engine just to get the cowling to fit halfway decent. And if I'd have put all the parts in the engine, it wouldn't have fit. I'd have had to done a lot more work. So, and that's all closed up. Like I said, there's just something I'm not happy with. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should have black based it to give it a little bit more depth. I don't know. I could have black based it, but I thought it'd be easier not to, and I could get the same results. I just don't think that it's as good as I expected. But I used Easy Line for the antenna. And see if we can zoom in here. I made little cones by melting plastic card and then sticking an old airbrush needle through it, and then just cutting around it, which I thought turned out kind of cool. So that's what she looks like. I'm gonna flash, and my kid's yelling. I'm gonna flash up some pictures of it, and I'll see you on the next video.